I've actually installed dozens and dozens of showers in houses, but never one in a van, and this is a complete departure from anything I've ever done before. So it's going to be interesting, and I'm probably willing to bet that you've probably never seen a shower tray like this before either. So the stuff I'm going to be using for the tray itself is actually this, which is actually a roofing material. So it's actually a rubber roofing material. It's vulcanized, so it won't be subject to any issues as far as UV is concerned. So it should be a good material. This is an offcut from work, and you know, it's only a small area. You'd also use this maybe as a pond liner as well. So this is going to be where the shower is, and obviously the first thing that we need to do is create an edge to stop the water coming out. So this is just a standard kind of ply. Already drilled a hole here for the outlet. I'm using a standard basin outlet. Now I wouldn't use one that is going to be, I wouldn't use a shower outlet just because there's too much space. This is going to go straight through the bottom of the van, and I can put then a trap on the bottom and put it straight into the waste water tank. Waste water tank is actually situated kind of this way, about 300 mil, so I've got a short run between here and the waste water tank. The way that I did this, I used a hole saw. I drilled up first from underneath to be sure that I actually was in more or less the right place. When I saw it was in the right place here, I've drilled back down first with a larger hole saw to create a rebate, because I want this to sit flush so the water will run into it, rather than sitting up here where the water won't run into it. Now it's rebated, it should actually sit lower into the recess. I'm going to seal this with a mastic, so I'm going to use like a CT one, maybe something like that. So we're going to put our rubber membrane down, put a hole in it, mastic around it, and then clamp it with a nut on the bottom of the van so it pulls it tight. I'm going to be bringing the membrane up about, I don't know, about 75 mil, 100 mil, something like that. I've got offcuts actually that I can use to patch the corners here and here. I'll just put a little bit of foam in here. This is still going to go off, so never touch foam when it's not gone off. So hopefully we've now created our tray itself. So we've got an area here which is now going to allow the water to drain here. The surface has got to be clean and dry, so anything that's sticking out is likely to go through. So I had a nail that was sticking out, really just the head, but yeah. And I'm going to use basically a spray contact adhesive. This stuff came with a carpet for Jilly, so the 3D carpet, but we didn't use it all, and we've got some left, so I'm going to use this. This is more or less what we use on roofing as well. I mean, it comes in a big canister, like about a 10-litre canister, but it's basically the same stuff. And it's not like it's going to have the extremes of the weather. It's going to be in a van, so it's not so bad. So I want to make sure that when I get that into the corner and there, it'll come over and fully cover this top. Maybe even actually want it to go over the side of it, so I'll pull it this way a little bit more, I think. That, and it'll go over a little bit. That's perfect. And then we'll put something on the front edge to kind of hide that edge, and then we'll have a door of some sort here as well. So I think I'm ready to stick. So I'm just going to put it on the base. I'm not going up the sides with it. I'll do that in a minute. So this is a contact adhesive that you need to let the solvent come off, and then it will become tacky. Right, that feels good. Sweet. So now we're just left with these corners that don't quite work. In fact, there's also a little bit there. Look, I need to still stick. So I'm going to cut these corners and put a patch on them. These are bits of offcuts that are too small really to use on a roof, because really you want a 75mm overhang. But in this, I'm not quite so concerned because we haven't got the weather to deal with. So yeah, so I'm going to use these on the corner and I'll show you how. So this is a primer. There we have it, the shower tray itself. So it's not the prettiest, but these will dull down over time. It is sealed. Get rubbish. And I've just got to make the hole here, put the waste in, and it's done. So I've got some shower panels that are basically plastic boards, and I'm going to put them on the back first, and I'm just going to hang them over at the bottom. And then I'm going to stick them on using something like CT1. This is a slight curve, so I need to stick them and need to wedge them against the wall. So we're using these aqua panels. They are plastic boards. These are 250mm wide. And they're, I think, about 5mm thick. So they're kind of a corrugated or correx kind of effect. They've got a double wall, and I'm just going to stick them on. These are copper effect, as you see, which is kind of a bit of a splash, but we need some decent lighting there. But hopefully these will work really well. So they're interlocking. They're like tongue and groove. So any water getting down the back of it should just run down the back of here, then out the bottom, and into the tray itself. One of the most difficult things with this build is the fact that we are on a slope, so you can't actually level anything. So what I've tried to do is just put everything at right angles, and clearly I failed a little bit because I've got enough for a finger here and it's tight at the bottom, so I'll have to scribe this. So if you need to scribe something, get something that is the thickness of your gap. In this case, it's 2 packers. You could use actually a compass, like a protractor set compass is really useful actually. That's what we used to use all the time, but I don't have one. So I'm just going to use these 2 packers. So now we have a line to cut to that should close that gap at the top. It's been 24 hours now, and I'm pretty pleased how well this seems to be holding. So I've just taken out some of these, look. It's holding against the ply. So the ply is obviously slightly concave, but this is holding against it. So I'm going to take out the supports and see how it works. So there we go, after day 2. And it's only taken about half an hour just to cut those. It's not perfect, there is a gap, but mastic, there's a little gap in there. I could get the tip of my finger in, but again, I've masticked behind and I'll mastic the corner too. So overall, I'm pretty pleased with that. Let's leave that now for 24 hours before we do this side. Is that right way up? I think so. Or does it go sideways? It's too late now, it goes that way.
I don't know. We'll find out when we try it out.
The shower enclosure is clad. I still need to seal it, but I'm going to take off these battens, if I can do that gently without collapsing the whole thing. And then this is kind of a big day because the shower enclosure is actually nearly complete. The shower is actually on, as in it is plumbed in, it is connected to the water pump, it is connected to the hot water cylinder, it is connected to the cold water tank underneath. So in theory, if I put water in this now and connect up the 12-volt supply, it would work. What isn't connected at the moment is the waste, so I still need to connect that to the waste tank at some point, probably this week. So today we are going to take this out. The other thing we have a shower curtain that's going to fit on here. For now, just because we can't afford the door. But if you are the door company that makes doors for these custom, then we do accept partnerships, paid partnerships, you know. So, you know, we're great millennials that are really in your niche. So, thanks. As you can see, we're now pretty much complete in here. I want to mastic the joints with a black or really dark mastic, but we are just about ready for a shower curtain. So I've just finished off the edge of the shower, so just adding little bits of trim. Same here. I haven't put anything on this edge actually, but I could do the same, but the door closes to that anyway, so it doesn't really matter. At the bottom, I still need to give it a little bit of mastic, but I've cut a 45 here, and so I'll mastic this. We put a little bit of flooring on that little edge. Again, I can mastic in between. Didn't have quite enough, so I've just joined it, but you don't really see too much. And again, a little 45 there. And that's effectively the shower, apart from a little bit of mastic and a light, which comes tomorrow. That's the shower done.
So what are you fitting today?
This is the just the waste for the shower. So it's a standard basin waste that's not slotted. If it's slotted, it wouldn't work. It would leak everywhere.
I see.
And so hopefully it's going to go through there. And that was under there. So we've got to go from there over to there. This is what the tank accepts, unless you drill it out and put a separate connection in. I thought about doing that. I actually bought a connector for it, for the tank, but why I didn't do it was because underneath you can't get, you'd have to have ups and downs in it, so you're going to get water in there anyway. So, and it's a real hassle to drill out the tank, and you couldn't get a nut on the back of the tank without, you know, you haven't got a bigger hole to get the nut in, you can't anyway, so there's lots of problems. So to get from this to this, I ordered connectors online. I spent a small fortune. I ordered different wastes like this, so I didn't need a trap. So that that's just got the attachment straight for that. None really work very well because this actually has to have my sink as an overflow, and this doesn't accept an overflow. So this is an 1.25" waste. This is the waste actually we're going to use normally for a basin, but this will actually go onto the shower. You put that in there, you fix that with a compression fitting. I've got an adapter here, so this is actually inside a coupler. Push that on there, and then that, he says it's not going to fit. It will fit. That goes in there, and then I can attach my flexi hose to that. How cool is that? So much easier.
Let's see.
£1.98. I'll put the link to Toolstation on for it.
The proof is in the pudding.
Why is nothing ever straightforward, eh?
Woo! Hold on.
I mean, that is a shower.
But it's not staying on it.
You've got to hold it on.
Fucking hell. That's more powerful than I wanted to. The toilet's getting very wet. That's so cool. And a little tiny who would expect as much from a little tiny head?
Press it.
Woo! We're gonna wash Billy with this.
Yeah.
It's like
It's jet wash.
It's like a jet wash.
Right, I'm gonna try and put the hot water on.
How'd you turn it on?
Just turn the. Well, first you got the button to press. You got.
I know that. There's nothing coming out.
So turn the top thing.
That.
Yeah, I think so. What do you think?
Don't like it. Not doing that often. That's why you've done it.
Why?
So you're such a tight ass. Like, don't want to use the water.